Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So I have a breaking news story right now. Jacob Wohl and Jack Burkman are two well-known, notorious right-wingers who have been caught in numerous scandals over the years for pushing propaganda, perpetrating smear campaigns against various people, but particularly they target Democratic lawmakers and anyone who dares to go up against Donald Trump or speaks out against him, any of his critics. They even at one point falsely accused Robert Mueller of sexual misconduct and tried to get a woman to lie and say that she had been victimized by him. How they're not in prison already, I don't know. And I even recently reported on this show about how they have been tied to accused pedophile and child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell after a former model came forward with allegations that Wohl and Burkman were paid by Maxwell to discredit her sexual assault victims. Well, now it has been announced that both Wohl and Burkman have been charged with felony crimes for sending out fake robocalls to residents in Detroit and at least 4 other U.S. cities, including Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, and New York. The Michigan Attorney General's office was tipped off to this supposed scam when thousands of their residents contacted the AG's office questioning the veracity and the content of these calls. An investigation was launched after all of those calls came in at the end of August, and a judge found probable cause to issue these charges. So investigators claim that the two men created and distributed robocalls in urban areas and areas with a high number of Black voters with the intent to suppress the Black vote in the upcoming election. So Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel said that approximately 85,000 calls were made across the country and that almost 12,000 Detroit residents in the 313 area code received the illegal calls. And what did the calls say? The robocaller identified herself as part of Project 1559 and said that the group had been founded by Wohl and Burkman. The woman went on to warn residents that voting by mail could result in their personal information being used by police to resolve previous warrants, for credit card companies to collect on debts owed, and for the federal government to track mandatory vaccinations. The robocaller said, quote, "Don't be finessed into giving your private information to the man. Beware of vote by mail." So neither Wohl or Burkman are in custody yet, but they've each been charged with 4 felony counts that include conspiring to intimidate voters in violation of election law and using a computer to commit crimes. The AG, Nessel, said that her office would work with local law enforcement in their states to ensure their court appearances if necessary. And if the men don't voluntarily make themselves available for arraignment and other court proceedings in Michigan, neither one of them resides in that state. And according to the Associated Press, the alleged crimes carry pretty steep penalties, including 7 years for each of the computer charges and 5 years for violating election laws. Now, Wohl, whose California home has already been searched, denies the allegations, and he claims that this is a left-wing setup. He's also threatening to sue the Michigan Secretary of State for defamation. I mean, this is a tough one because it seems to me it's a little suspicious that you would identify who is paying for the calls if you're trying to do something illegal. So it does seem a little odd. I mean, these guys aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. So I can imagine them wanting to take credit for it. At the same time, being able to deny it because their names were mentioned, and so they could blame it on left-wingers. I mean, that could be the case. Also, why would left-wingers, why would Democrats try to suppress the Black vote when they are so desperate to beat Donald Trump? And they know that bringing Black voters to the polls is the best way to do that in Michigan, where turnout was suppressed in 2016, and that's how Hillary Clinton lost that area. So none of it really makes sense, but they do have a history. It's extensive. More recently, they even tried to pay a young guy to say that Pete Buttigieg sexually assaulted him, and he came forward and told the truth. They actually went forward with the plan even without his agreement. And then he stepped forward and said, no, they approached me about this. I wasn't on board, and they did it anyway. And trust me, I am not a Pete Buttigieg fan. So if that were true, I would be telling you. So yeah, it's a muddled mess. It's a mixed bag here. This could go either way, but I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know as soon as there's more to report. Wohl, as you may or may not know, has a father who's an attorney in California. And so he has so far escaped any and all accountability because of his father. And his father is on Fox News as a pretty fairly regular guest. So we'll see where this goes. As we all know, there's not a lot of accountability in this country over the last 4 years. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.